Hello there. I am Amy Riordan. And a few weeks ago, I decided that I wanted to start going through my book, All of You, chapter by chapter. And today I am going to talk about chapter two, which is also called All of You. As a side note, I actually recorded this episode or tried to record this episode several times yesterday, and there were issues with each one of them. Zoom kept shutting down, and then I switched to another platform. I went to another building. I did all sorts of things yesterday and had no success whatsoever. And I tried again this morning and realized I felt like I sounded a little robotic by saying the same thing one more time. And that really defeats my whole purpose in wanting to do this. So after that, I prayed this morning and said, God, what do you want me to say? Because I don't, I can't say the same thing one more time. So as I was praying, I was reminded of a dream that I had years ago and felt like that's what I'm supposed to share. And it goes along with the topic, All of You, which is like I said, the title of the second chapter and the title of the whole book. And that is meaning that God wants all of you. So when I had this dream that I'm going to share with you, and we'll see where this goes. um, when I had this dream, it was several years ago when Jesus was healing my heart of so many things. He was healing my heart concerning all the pornography that I had looked at, all the sexual fantasies that I had just still even just running through my mind, even years after um, not watching pornography anymore. And I had thought that I had ruined my brain, which I'm sure a lot of you can relate to that fear. And I just was still dealing with so much shame and so much self-condemnation, and I just did not know what to do. And it was around that time that I had this dream that I remembered this morning that I'm going to share with you. And my dreams are very real. So I dreamt that I was outside and I came across this enclosed area, and I didn't know what it was, but suddenly I had a key for this area. So I unlocked the door with my key, and after looking in that area, I quickly realized that it in that area there were several different kind of stations of, I don't know how else to explain that, of examples or memories of things that I had done in my past that I had felt so ashamed of, things that I deeply regretted, things that I had felt so much regret about, and things I didn't really want to look at or remember anymore. And that's what that whole enclosed area consisted of. And in my dream, I saw all of that and just felt mortified and left the enclosed area, shut the door, and then suddenly I realized Jesus was standing there with me outside the door. And in my dream, I knew that he wanted to go in there with me to look at all of these things. And I was mortified to think that he would go in there with me. And the thing is, we all know that God can see what we're doing and he knows what's going on with us. He knows our hearts even better than we do. He knows, and we know he knows. But there can be so much shame attached to all of that. And in my dream, after some hesitation, I decided to let him go in there with me. He was not forcing his way in. He waited for me to let him in, which is what he does with our hearts. He waits until we let him into these deeper places of our hearts. And in my dream, I let him in and he grabbed a hold of my hand and he was just walking from the station to station, which was like memory to memory looking at all of these things that I had done. And even just talking about it, I'm remembering it. I just felt so ashamed and so mortified and so embarrassed and so regretful. But he kept walking through each of these places with me. And as mortified and embarrassed as I was, he was not. He was not mortified. He was not embarrassed. He was not ashamed of me. He was not angry with me. He was not upset with me. He was just walking through memory with me, holding my hand, observing all of this. That's what it seemed like he was doing, was observing it all. Then we were finally done and we left that enclosed area. And in my dream, he then stood in front of me and grabbed a hold of both of my hands and looked into my eyes and said, "I love you." And I knew he wanted access. That whole area was a description of my heart, and he wanted access to those places in my heart that I didn't want to look at. I didn't know how to deal with. I kind of felt like, what if this takes over my life? If I start dealing with this, I have other things to do. I have little kids. My kids were much younger at the time, and I'm like, I have things to do. This cannot take over my whole life. I was afraid that it would. And he was waiting for permission to go into those places in my heart, and he was showing me that it was safe. It doesn't mean it's not going to hurt. It doesn't mean it's not going to, there's not going to be some pain involved in that, but he was waiting for my permission. Because he was showing me that he wanted all of me. He didn't just want the parts that I wanted to show him, the parts where I was doing the things that I wanted to do, um, doing the things I thought I should do. He wanted all of it. And he wasn't going to take it from me. He was asking permission. And so that's really what I want you to know today, is that God wants all of you. He knows it all. And he's not going to take it. He's not going to force his way into your heart. And it can be scary. It can be scary to not know what's going to come up. But I've learned, and I'm still learning, he knows what comes next. And he will hold your heart in his hand so carefully, so carefully. And I had a client a couple of years ago who had been involved in some things that she knew she didn't want to be, and she felt a lot of regret over. And when we started talking, she thought that God was going to deal with her forcefully and kind of rip some things out of her. And that is not what he did at all. And I'll never forget the word she used. She said she felt soothed by him. That is not at all the equivalent of being ripped out of her. God did something completely different. So I just want to encourage you, as you walk through this book with me, as you walk through other areas in your life, Jesus will so carefully hold your heart. He knows what comes next, and he knows when it's time, and he's going to wait for you. So I encourage you to know he wants all of you. You don't need to try to hide anything from him. It can feel very, um, I know that I felt very exposed in that dream, and I felt very exposed as he was healing my heart. He did not take advantage of that at all. But the relationship I have with him now is so much deeper than I ever could have imagined, and that's what I want for you. So actually, now that I told you that story and my dream that I remembered, I'm glad that those videos yesterday did not work out, because this was so much better. This is what God had in mind for you. So I will talk to you next time when I go over chapter 3. Okay, thanks. Bye.